Welcome back, or welcome to Yoga with Ciara. This is day 3 of pause. Pause is creating loads of thoughts in me, loads of dwellings upon how I entertain myself or how I meet myself during my day. And so I've set up a little desk for myself, and I've started painting again. And it's really nice. There's something very in the zone for me for painting. I trained as a graphic designer, or began training as a graphic designer years ago, and I was a crafter. I used to make crafts all the time. So it's really nice. I'm really enjoying the pause in my day when I do some painting. So great. So let's sit for a moment, and then we shall move into our Sunday yum. Come. Let's sit. Come. What is the first thing that your attention is drawn to? And then let that widen, let your attention widen. Include more in how you perceive your body in this moment. Getting a sense of the weight of you, the contact between you and the floor or you and the chair, the sense of what supports you. For me, the block underneath my bum supports me. Could be the back of the chair. Could be holding onto your knees supports you. Where is your weight? Oh, how does your weight drop into your body? My weight is in my hands as they rest on my thighs. My weight is in my bum, in my knees as they rest on the floor, in my feet. And what thing in the whole of you, what layer of you, what part of you feels like wellness right now? What feels okay right now? Nice, come. So just brief, how is it for you to sit for that 2 minutes? How is it for you to connect in? Great. So come lie on the floor. Connect to the floor. Settle yourself in. Unpack your shoulders, perhaps. Nice. And then just roll up and down along your spine. And as you travel up and down along your spine, how wholesome and connected can you be in the movement? How connected to the floor? How connected to the sensations that you're experiencing, including how you feel, including how this is in your body as you move, and adapting accordingly. Nice. One more time and pause. Squeezing your bum, lifting your hips, arms are long beside you. I have a sense that all my toes are engaging into the floor, that my knees are slightly moving towards each other, my bum is squeezing, and the fronts of my thighs are really active and strong. Breath is in my belly, shoulders are comfortable, neck is comfortable. Nice. So we're going to turn this movement into another. So slowly lower down And then roll over towards the left side and reach your right arm overhead into alarm clock. Come back to center. Roll up along your spine, lifting up. Push your hips up towards the ceiling. And then slowly rolling down. And then over towards the right, reach your left arm overhead. And then come back. Travel up along the spine, lifting your hips up towards the ceiling. Lowering down, roll over towards the left, right arm overhead. Rising up through your hips. Lowering down, roll over towards the right. So you can do this thing where you combine them a little bit more. So when you're halfway down, you're then going to start reaching already, if that suits your physiology, your body. So rolling up and then lower halfway down and then reach over towards the right and then come back and then reach over towards the left and come back. So you're really pushing into your shoulders as you do this. See, does this suit you? Or is there any reason why for you this doesn't suit you? And if there is, then find the version of this that does suit you. So reverse backwards. Come to an easier version, which is that your bum lands on the floor and then you roll over. One more time each side. So it's alarm clock with bridge combined. Nice. Land on the floor, pause. Just feel the deep squeezing of the outsides of your shoulders that happened. A deep connection into the floor. Great. So lift your right foot up and place your right ankle on top of your left knee. And then just wave your right knee. So draw your right knee as far away from you as you can, and then draw your right thigh as close to your belly as you can. But I'm not changing the position of my torso. It's just the right leg that's waving up and then drawing away. Waving up. And at the end of the range, I feel a sense of squeezing and lengthening. So I'm trying to notice, how would I connect a bit deeper into this range? Nice change. Left leg up. Place the left ankle on top of the right knee. Knee away. Thigh towards. Knee away. Thigh towards. As you move, what's happening in your hip? What's happening in your buttock? What's happening in your belly? Just notice. Super. Both feet to the floor. Pelvic tilt. So arching into the lower back. Flatten your lower back down. Arching. Flattening. Arching. Flattening. So with the pelvic tilt, I'm just moving my lower back. Other parts of me are also being moved, but that's not where the focus of the action is. The action is in popping the lower back off the floor into an arch and then flattening the lower back down. Another way of saying that is let your sacrum come towards the floor or your coccyx come towards the floor and then pull your coccyx away from the floor. Super. So bring your right leg up again, place it on top of the left knee, and then arch your back and flatten down. So now this should feel different because as I arch, I really meet the deep of that right hip, right buttock. Arching your back, flattening down, arching your back, flattening down. Nice. So flatten your lower back down and then lift your foot in the air, the left foot in the air, and squeeze your left knee towards you. So I'm going to flex into that right foot. That's going to protect the knee. The more engaged your calf is, the more solid your knee is. So your knee can't torque off. So really make your foot really solid, very stable. Nice. And then slowly lower your toes down, and you'll notice your left toes down. Notice that your back will arch, and then flatten your lower back to the floor, and your back will flatten. So touch your toes, draw your knee towards you. Touch your toes, draw your knee towards you. Touch your toes, draw your knee towards you. So keep your knee in the same place now and arch your back and flatten down. Now we're creating the movement without moving our legs. Flatten down, arching, flatten down, arching, flatten down, arching. Nice. Draw a circle with your left knee in the air, and that's going to circle the whole shape of this. And then circle in the other direction. Keep that right foot flexing. Keep the left foot flexing, engaging into your feet. Nice. Both feet to the floor. Pause. So as you pause, what do you notice? So I can still feel the outsides of my shoulders are really engaged because of the rolling that we did. I can hear the length of my spine, a bit like watching like a runway for an airplane. I can feel both sides of my spine really long and resting on the floor. And the spine itself is like the runway for the airplane. I can hear more in the right leg. So right hip, right knee, right foot feel much more alive to me. Great, let's do the other side. So lift the left foot up, bring the left foot to your right knee, arch your lower back. So your right foot's on the floor for the first one. Arching your back, flattening down. And as I flatten down, I'm really noticing how my right foot is really helping me do this movement. So as I flatten down, my right foot pushes down. And as I arch, my right foot seems to even pull on the floor. Flatten down and then arch. Flatten down and arch. Now, lift your right foot in the air. Squeeze your knee towards you. And then let your toes touch the floor. So as you do this, your back will naturally arch and flatten. And you're just letting it do what it naturally does. As toes touch, you arch. As knees come towards you, you flatten. Toes touch, you arch. It's naturally happening. You don't have to do anything except for move your legs to touch, your foot to touch, and draw your knee towards you. This time, keep your legs still and arch into the lower back and flatten. So this is the trickiest of them. Keeping your legs stable and arching means that you meet the mobility of the piriformis, of the gluteal muscles, and you're lengthening them in an active position, which is a little bit tricky. Just a little bit tricky. One more time. Nice. And then draw a circle with your legs up towards the ceiling. And then in the other direction. Super. Bring both feet to the floor, bring your arms wide, and then just come up into gliders. So drop your knees to the right and draw your left knee up towards your right shoulder. And then the other side, right knee up towards your left shoulder. As you travel from one side to the other, I'm really focusing on widening into my chest and keeping my shoulders glued to the floor. Connecting, listening, attending to the deep of my hips, the deep of my lower back, hearing my ribs as I move. Nice. Come back up to center. Roll over and come up into a seated position. Nice. So we were opening out into the sit bones, into the lower back. So we're going to do the same again. We're going to find different ways. So I'm going to cough. Sorry. Sorry. Excuse me. So you're sitting on your bum, your legs are long in front of you, and then just arch. You can have a block, or you can roll your yoga mat up a little bit to put underneath your bum, okay? So arching your lower back and then rounding your back. So from the side, That's going to look like, and it's not my head that's moving. I'm trying to make it about my lower back. So I'm pushing my belly forward and then collapsing my spine backwards, is another way of saying this. Arch your lower back and then flatten. Arching your lower back forward and then round your lower back backwards. Nice. So, super. Come into soles of your feet together, knees apart. Hold on to your ankles and do the same movement again. Arching your lower back. Can you really stay with the sensations? So I'm going to close my eyes so I really feel, how do I arch into the lower back? So I pull with my arms. How do I round into the lower back? Arching, rounding, arching, rounding. I'm going to twist towards the left. So I'm holding on to my left thigh, calf, knee, ankle, whatever it is I can hold on to. And I'm twisting towards the left. My left hand is resting on the floor behind me. And then I round my back and arch. What I notice is when I round, I get shorter. And when I arch, I get taller. Rounding your back, arching your back. Where moves in your body? Because it's not very straightforward. If you find that you can't move your lower back, you've twisted too hard. And so we're going to really be gauging, how do we create movement in places? So this yoga practice isn't about being as rigid as you can to hold a position. It's how do we create movement near the end range of our body? So if you can't mobilize your lower back, then sit higher on something or twist less. Nice. Come back to center. Pause for a moment. I can still feel the twist in towards the left in my body. I can feel the action in the belly that was happening there. And now twist towards the right. So my left hand has traveled across. And just find that arching, that rounding here. How do you move your lower back, not your upper back? How do you move your lower back? If you can't round and arch your lower back, then you've gone too deep into the twist, or your bum's not high enough. You need to put something else underneath your bum. Nice. Stretch your legs out long, roll into your ankles. Just roll into your belly. So now your head and your chest are moving, and we're trying to really kind of just mobilize and soften into the spine. And then roll in the other direction. So a friend of mine calls my yoga classes yoga snacks or movement snacks. And he's been saying it for a good while, and I kind of started listening to what he was saying. And so as I listen to what he says, I'm like, that makes sense to me, that I would have a movement moment in my day that's like a snack of some kind. So bend both knees towards the right and your feet are towards the left. Bring both hands either side of the right knee and then rest your chest down so that you're really leaning down into that right leg. This sense of a movement snack, a pause snack, an action snack in your day. You know that our days can be, yeah, do you have loads of movement and therefore need to pause more? Do you have not so much movement and therefore need to move more? What balances your day? What tips the scales in the favor of wholesomeness and wellness in your life, in your day, in your body? Nice. Bring your hands to the floor, either side of your knees, and we're going to do that pelvic tilt again. Round your lower back and arch your lower back. If you find that you cannot move your lower back, then sit up taller. And so the movement will be available at the highest point, or find the lowest point where you can still move your lower back. Can you include the whole of your spine in the action? So that when you round your lower back, you also drop your head down. And when you arch, you also lift your head. And so, really, like you're doing the cat and the cow, how would you really connect into the length of you right now? Closing your eyes, feeling the whole of your spine moving. Nice. Stretch your legs out long. Other side. Bend your knees over towards the left. Bring your hands down and rest yourself down. You can bring your elbows down as well if you wish. Really lean your weight down into that right, left thigh, left hip. Nice. Hands to the floor. And then find your pelvic tilt. Arching your lower back, rounding your lower back. Is this side? This side for me is a bit like I can feel that the movement isn't as strong. The muscular connections on this side don't feel as obvious to me. It feels a little bit vague or dull as I move. That's very interesting to me. Nice. And now begin to include the whole of your spine. So as I arch, I lift my head, I look up. And as I round, I tuck my chin in and I look down. I'm using the whole of my spine to move. I'm pausing a moment to lean a bit deeper into the end of the range. So I'm feeling the full arc of the movement in my body and feeling the shape of that in my body. What does it mean? And what happens? Nice. Stretch your legs out long, bring them wide. Last movement. So turn towards your right leg and then sweep your right arm across and look up towards the ceiling underneath your right armpit. And then do that again. So I'm leaning my left hand into the floor, or I can have my left hand wherever I feel it supports me. Is that behind your left leg? All the time I'm looking at the right foot as I do this. So it's a little bit like elephant, spiraling elephant. So I sweep my arm across, it meets the side of my face, and then I turn up towards the ceiling. So yes, it is. It's spiraling elephant. So those of you who are new to here, elephant is where you take your elephant trunk, sweep it across the front, it hits the side of your face, and you turn and look up towards the ceiling. And next time you do this, keep looking at your right foot and pause. So I'm pushing my left hand into the floor and I'm creating more length through the right side of my body. Breathe into it. Nice. Come all the way down. Other side. Sweep the left hand across, spiral, and coming down. So all the time I'm looking towards the left foot unless I'm looking up towards the ceiling. So there's that sense of I've turned towards the left with my torso and I'm looking left. Next time you go, pause. Nice. Come all the way back. Legs come forward. Just come into a forward fold. So forward folds, if you find that you're very far back and can't come forward, then bend your knees and wrap yourself towards bent knees. There's lots of geography that would mean that why you can't come forward. So there can be, you can have, your belly might be in the way, your boobs might be in the way, your thighs, but it's more not even in the way. Be the shape that you are and find a way to move this, so really meeting Bring your feet a bit wider if you find that there's not enough space for the deep of your belly to come forward. So find your way to move, bend your knees more, wiggle a little bit. So I'm going to really move and wiggle. And I'm imagining that every time I move, I can reach my hands a little bit more forward. Wiggling my toes, I'm connecting forward. Let your head drop. Super. Come lie on the floor. Slightly longer class today. So lie on the floor. Come lie down. Right, guys. Hope you have a wonderful day. So tomorrow's class is going to be slightly different. I'm recording it this evening because I have to drive to Shannon Airport tomorrow morning. So you'll find it as day 4 of pause, but it won't be live streamed first thing tomorrow morning. It will be uploaded first thing tomorrow morning. And so look for pause day 4. You'll find it, but it won't be on the next live stream. Yeah, we're just going to see how that's going to work. We're trying to work it out. You'll find it. It'll be there. It'll definitely be there. We just have to work out how you're going to find it. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day. And yeah, keep moving. Find places in your life where you can move into. Don't get stuck. It's that thing where this idea of this external shape. No, no, no. Find your way to move and connect and be in your life. Find things that balance your life. Do you need to move more? Do you need to sit more? How do you balance the pause in your life? What is your pause? Nice, great. Thanks for joining me. Ciao.